My name is Jackline. I'm the host of Tucheze program, and here with me are
Roslyn Odero.
Team Odero.
Wow, thank you so much for joining us at Tucheze. We are glad to have you on board. Just a few questions. Today we are talking about special needs children, and one of the questions I would like to ask you, when you first realized that your son was a special needs child, first of all, maybe you could tell us what's the area of specialty?
Okay, and what condition he has?
Yes, sir.
So Morgan has a rare disease called Joubert syndrome. It's one of those rare diseases that even in the country, there are like known cases are like 2 or 3.
What normally causes it?
So it's a genetic disease. So for him, it's a malformation of the brainstem. So there are specific genes that causes this. So these diseases also affect other parts of the body. So like for him, he might not be able to walk or talk, but then he has other, like other body systems are affected.
Thank you very much. Let me ask you, the first time you realized Morgan is a special needs child, how was it for you?
So for me, we knew that something is wrong when I was 8 months pregnant. And then by 4 months, we got the correct diagnosis. So after that, it was really challenging because we had a lot of medical emergencies and medical needs that we had to cater for him. And of course, it was tough because no one gets pregnant wanting a special child.
Yes.
But then the road to acceptance is always long. But the faster you get to it, the easier it is for you to provide intervention for your child. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. This question, I'm giving it to Dad. I realize that there's a lot of parents that opt to put their children locked in. But you've decided to bring Morgan out. Maybe could you tell us why you chose that?
I could say because every child deserves a chance. Because at the end of the day, it's not something that you would choose to have in your life. But given the responsibility, Morgan has us to depend on. It's not his choice that he was born the way he was. So give him every chance that every other child would get. And also in that way, him being out with other people also helps them to see that there's nothing wrong with children being different. So there are 2 ways. One is for him, and 2 is also for other people to get awareness that these children are able to participate in society given the chance that other children get. And especially with him, he has a way of drawing people to him. So he has a lot of friends, a lot of people gravitate towards him, and he sort of acts as an encouragement and a sign of hope because he's always happy. So even us, we sometimes get inspiration from him.
Actually, I could actually second that because I met him and I've interacted with him, and he's actually quite a happy baby. Yeah. Wow, so that is kudos to both of you. You've done a good job. Let me ask you, are there some challenges that you face on a daily basis when it comes to raising Morgan?
Oh, the challenges are numerous. I'll start off, even just taking care of him, like just normal things. So Morgan can't walk. So that means until recently when he could scoot around, that means where you leave him is where you find him. So what we call activities of daily living, like washing, feeding himself, someone has to keep helping him. Even just washing Morgan is not easy. It's not like any other child. So you have this toddler extended experience that a 6-year-old, yet he's like a 1.5, so, or rather even younger than that. So there are those challenges of just the daily living, of taking care of him. But beyond that, there's also the medical, because we constantly have to screen several body parts, several organs to ensure that he's okay. And then now school. Bring him to school, and you find that sometimes the teachers are not equipped. How do they teach Morgan? Because you find that some things he's ahead in terms of emotionally, he can feel, he can see and everything, just that he cannot communicate. So how do you teach such a child? So those challenges are there. And of course, there's the financial challenges of having to take care, because we're still on diapers, still need medical cover, and so there's so many other things that go on to taking care of him. But it's still a joy to have this child.
Wow. I am speechless. I don't know if you have something to add.
Yes. One of the other issues sometimes is in terms of communication with him, because he understands what you are saying, he understands instructions, so his receptive language is very high. So, but now he cannot express what he wants to us. or to the people around him. So there are times you see that he knows what you're saying, he wants to tell you something, but he cannot tell you what it is exactly that he wants. So that also leads to frustration on his part and also on our part. So communication, and basically how do we communicate with him, realizing that he's also growing intellectually at a faster rate, but not as fast in terms of how he expresses himself. So that was part of the challenge in school, part of the challenge when he's growing. How is he going to fit? How is he going to communicate what he wants with other people? And also sometimes you see when you project 10, 20 years, one day we're not going to be there. How is he going to fit? What is going to happen to him? You know, there are those fears. Because in his condition, he will be with us as long as we are alive. So now, beyond that, there's the issue of what happens. So you are thinking constantly ahead and thinking about different situations that a normal parent would not be thinking about.
Wow, this is very overwhelming, and it's very humbling. Thank you so much. Let me ask you one more question. What would you advise parents with a special needs child? What would you advise them?
Well, for one, it's understandable to want. I understand when parents sometimes keep the children at home. There are several reasons for that. Sometimes maybe the sensory is too much for them. Even coming here, we were not so sure about with the music is too loud. How will he be able to take it? But beyond that is to try and constantly try and push that child outside. I know there's also the issue of stigma. The reason why people keep these children outside is because of the community is not as accepting. So, but then that shouldn't stop you from going outside. People will talk, people will look. Beyond that, today they'll look, tomorrow they'll look, after a week, they've seen you, you know. So continually be the advocate for your child. Speak out for your child. Continually expose your child to the environment around you, of course, within safe limits. And and people will get to understand that these differently able children are with us, and they are not to be shunned. There's nothing wrong you did or you didn't do, because there's always there's a feeling of you did something or you didn't do. So it's just continually just come out, engage with the community, teach them about your children, and then you'll be surprised what people will surprise you.
Wow. One of the things I've noted about special needs children, when they're good at something, they're actually quite good. I realize today you're having your sports day. What school is this, by the way?
It's Montgomery School.
And why did you choose this school?
Well, because first of all, our firstborn is also here, and he's also special in his own way. Yes, he's dyslexic and has ADHD. But the school was willing to take him in and understand his challenges. So when it came to Morgan, Morgan needed the social aspect because he was doing homeschooling. So we needed a place where he could learn with others and teachers who would be able to understand. So that's why we chose a school that has a small capacity and will be able to give him the attention.
Wow, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate, and God bless you. And doing this, you don't know how many parents you're actually helping. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Tucheze program. Joining me is the director of Montgomery School. Welcome. Maybe you can tell us your name.
Thank you. My name is Francis Ngoke. I'm the director of Montgomery Schools.
Beautiful. I've seen today you are doing your sports day. I've realized that you're having a lot of special needs children. Probably you could tell us why you've opened your grounds to a lot of special needs children, sir?
As you say, there are not a lot. There are quite a number. And this is because we realize that we have parents who, especially parents who have kids with autism and mild autism that come to our school, and you realize that these kids are not accepted, or rather they are advised that they take these kids to special schools. But from what we have experienced is when we allow these kids to come to school, somehow they are able to interact with others, and when they interact with others, they are able to outgrow that autism, and they perform in school We have such examples of a kid that we have in class 5 who we started with, and now he's able to coordinate, he's able to learn, and we are very proud of that as a school.
Oh wow, that's awesome. I realize going to a number of schools, there are some children that they grow up to probably the ages of 14, and then you realize that there's nothing much that has been done, so it becomes a little bit burdensome to the teachers. How do you go about some of the challenges that maybe you face as a school owner?
Well, what I know is, you know, when you have a kid who has an issue, a special kid, you find that most parents, what they will do is they would keep these kids at home, hide them from the public, which is not right. And you find that these kids remain there, and they are never attended to. Some of them are even chained at home. So for me, I'm a bit sensitive to kids, and I decided that I can have these kids, and miraculously I can testify here that these kids have performed very well, especially kids with autism. I have quite a number of them in our school, and their parents are very happy, because you see, as a parent, when you are defeated and you don't know what to do, and you find a school that is able to open doors for you and develop your kid, it becomes very, very satisfying. So that is what we have done. However, we also experience challenges when it comes to taking care of these kids. And in our school, we have teachers who have attained diplomas in special needs from Tucheze. And they are the ones who are assisting us to ensure that we understand how to handle these kids. So for us, honestly, it is not an issue. We help these parents because some of them feels disillusioned to have such kids. So when they find that you can be able to support them, they are very happy.
Wow, thank you so much. Maybe just a word of advice. Maybe what would you advise some of the school owners?
You know, it is very difficult. Before, we had these kids hauled up in one special school. I know we have special schools around that take care of these kids. But you see, these special schools have kids with special needs. And therefore, there is nothing that these kids can copy from these other kids. For example, a kid who has autism and a mild speech issue, you find that when they are able to sit with others who are able to speak, this kid is able to pick up and learn and even speak. And as I said earlier on, this is happening, and it has happened. You have witnessed at Montgomery, and these kids are able to speak, they are able to write now, they are able to coordinate all the activities, and they are learning like any other child. So I think it is important also, and I think the government has recognized this, that it is important, if the special needs are not very severe, it is important to integrate these kids so that they learn and grow with these other ones that are normal, these ones that are okay.
Wow, thank you so much. We appreciate your time, and God bless you. You're doing an amazing job. Thank you so much, Mr. Ngoki.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for watching the Tucheze Show. I've been your host, Jackline Cohost, and my co-host,
Ademola Michael. We are so grateful for watching the Tucheze Show. Hope to see you next time. Thank you so much, and God bless.
fighting stance position. Aya! 1. Ah! Clear. First striking stance position. 2. Aya! Go straight punch. 1, 2, 3, go. Fight last. Baru. Fighting in that position. 2. Aya! Now we need to there. Attack stance. Snap. Ready? Snapping. 1, 2, 3 last. Change. Everybody change. Let me kick. 1, 2.
Cheer your team up, cheer your team up. Nice one, yellow, cheer your team. Let us see the performance of the teachers. The children number 1 look at the team, the team, the team. Very nice.
Take the balls, that side, that side.
Stand up, judges. Support and encourage our president.